Following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah, go Cowboys! This is Mick Shots, streaming live on DallasCowboys.com and the official Dallas Cowboys app. Now, here are Bill Jones, Everson Walls, and Mickey Spagnola.
Well, we're almost all here. Bill Jones had to be called away on assignment, but as usual, Nathan Frisco
steps up, baby,
out of the bullpen to help us here on Talking Cowboys here at the SWBC studio after a Cowboys 34-6 loss, and after Jerry Jones said at the end of the evening, there is no joy here without winning. And the Cowboys lost their fourth consecutive game of the season, falling to 3-6, and really only one victory ahead of the Giants from last place in the NFC East. But we are here to break it down after that game on Sunday, where the Cowboys could not score a touchdown. Could not score a touchdown, gentlemen, at home. And the last time they scored a touchdown at home was Baltimore. That seems like last year.
Wow, bro.
But I think it was the second game of the season. So things just continue seemingly to get worse. Have to play without your starting quarterback. And Cooper Rush had his problems, really not having played much since that 2022 season. It certainly showed. The Cowboys' defense played well in the first half, kind of fell apart in the second half. And so here we are, and I'm going to let you guys kind of take it from there and give me your impressions of this fourth consecutive loss, Everson Walls.
I am finally exhaling. You know, this game let me know we're done.
Sometimes you're not good enough, right?
Yeah, sometimes it just ain't going to happen for you. You know, mathematically, you know, we're probably out for a while. But as far as I'm concerned, the way we showed last night, that was downright pitiful to watch that game. And you know, these I told you so's and all of that. Of course, they'll come later. But, you know, what if Rush would have come out and led this team to victory? Could you imagine the kind of chaos we'd have in here right now? Everybody be
Bill
talking.
probably would have showed up.
Right? Everybody talking about, you know, Dak this, Dak that. When it all comes down to it, first of all, neither facet of the game comes to play together. You know, you always have one facet doing well, and the other one just you know, didn't accompany them, and now you're sitting here with wasted plays, wasted energy, and that's what you have right now. No one came to play. At one point, we had a receiver had more yards than our entire offense. Their receiver, I think it was A.J. Brown, had more yards than our entire offense. And as you sit there as a hopeful fan like I am, I'm definitely a homer, no doubt about it. And you sit there and you look at the game, which seemed to take all freaking afternoon. It seemed like it would never end. I drove home at the beginning of the fourth quarter, and I was able to make it home while they were still playing in the fourth quarter. The game would not end. It was really torture for any Cowboys fan.
No, they weren't tortured because they left.
Well, any of those watching on TV.
Oh, okay.
It didn't matter.
They probably left too.
That was the game where it was a long kiss goodnight. That's what it was. It was a long kiss goodnight.
Nate Newton, thanks for filling in, by the way.
The thing that if we'd have sat here Friday and said, we're going to hold Saquon Barkley under 67 yards, and he's going to only catch one pass for 12 yards, everybody been like, we got a shot.
Yeah.
That mean that Hurts has to throw the ball repeatedly. And that'll give us a chance with Parsons up and running to have a great impact. Well, it happened.
Great recipe. That's a great recipe.
It happened. And it all fell apart coming into the third quarter. Once again, just like Atlanta, you at halftime, down by a little, up by a little. You were set and poised. You came out and gave up 14 quick points in the third quarter. It doomed you. 4 turnovers. It doomed you. They was driving down. All of a sudden you see Goddard. Your boy steps in front of him, gets a pick, saves us. Fellas, we have to generate a better offensive performance over a whole game, over the whole band of a game. It will save our defense. Our defense did it against, I think, Atlanta.
They did.
Then it fell apart in the second half for them. They tried to hold together against this Eagles team. I mean, the Eagles got some nice wide receivers, nice tight end, a nice quarterback, and a super running back. And you were in the game. And you come out in the second half, and you just let it get away from you. Part of that is lack of talent, lack of experienced talent, and a few of the older guys are just old right now.
Right.
So
they're playing old.
Like Coach Johnson once told me, and Barry Switzer told me, sometimes you just a player or two away, and that's that extra oomph coming out into that third quarter. Sometimes you're just a player or two away. I don't know who that player is or who those players are, but we have to play. When you're in this position, and Walls, you can agree to this, you didn't have five penalties for 40 yards, but every penalty that hits you costs you.
Yeah.
So you have to play almost –
it negated a positive play.
Yeah. So you have to almost play perfect football. And right now we're not built for perfect football.
No, we're not.
So
we're not even built for the perfect game plan.
yes.
And that's what I kept talking about last week.
Yes.
Put them in a good game plan and allow matchups, and then all of a sudden here comes Michael Parsons, make some plays.
Yes.
And that's what okay, we're going to ride that.
Right.
Well, there wasn't enough to ride.
Yeah, so that's where I'm at, Mick. It's just the inconsistencies of who we are and what we're trying to accomplish. It's big. It's awesome. It's awesome riches.
I don't care how many injuries you have. If I'm looking at this from a coach's standpoint, as a team, we still need to replace someone who may not be playing well or who's on injury reserve. We still need to replace him with someone who can follow instructions and follow this game plan to a T. Yeah. There are some coaches out there, Pittsburgh Steelers, that say
Baltimore Ravens,
we're going to win. Well, to me, they got too much talent now. But when you look at Pittsburgh with not as much talent, still maintaining a winning record, that culture in that locker room, whoever you are that steps up, you're bound to play the way we expect you to play.
Right.
To step in line, play the way we're supposed to play, no mistakes. Don't come in acting like you hadn't hardly played and commit illegal procedures and things of that nature. Come in and play like the professional that you are, because we're signing you to a contract and you're making money.
So the defense in the first half probably played their best game of the season for a half. What the problem was is you had first and goal at the 6 twice. First and goal at the 6. You got to score touchdowns. Unfortunately for this team, they came away with a fumble into the end zone for a touchback, and then you ended up kicking a field goal when you should have had 14 points. Granted, right? First and goal at the 6, got to score touchdowns.
Yep.
That's 14 points. All you had was 3. If they had scored touchdowns on those 2 possessions, they would have had the lead at halftime. And you don't know what that's going to turn it around to end up being. Zeke has the guy Bond put his helmet right on the ball after a 3-yard gain. It was a pretty good 3-yard gain because it should have been a 2-yard loss. Maybe it would have been better if the guy tackled him once he got the handoff. And then the second time around, you get the turnover, right? You get the turnover. You're first and goal at the 6. Zeke gains 3 yards. And then on the second one, you guys tell me what happened with that pass in the end zone. Because to me, it looked like it was supposed to go to Ferguson, and he pulled his hands back.
Right.
And then it goes behind CD, and
He
CD
said he was throwing it to CD.
Yeah, he said that because he fell on the ground, right? Ferguson said, I thought it was for me, but he pulled his hands back. So
The quarterback said, I was throwing it to CD, but I got hit, so I didn't know what happened after that.
Okay. Right.
So the bottom line is he was throwing it to CD. Once again, Mick, what you're trying to do is be nice about it.
No, I'm not trying to be nice.
Somebody ran a wrong route.
C didn't. Both of them shouldn't have run that route, right?
Yes, somebody ran a wrong route.
Because either one of them could have caught it.
Yeah.
And then you're going to tell me the sun was in your eyes?
Now here we go.
Here
we go.
He should have stopped. He was open, and that's where he threw the ball and ended up behind him.
Hey, why didn't he just continue just snatch it out of the air? That's all Ferguson had to do. Nobody cares about intentions.
So anyway, you have that happen, and then on third down, it's like, okay, we're going to call another run here. We're at the 3-yard line, and Cooper Beebe whiffs on Jalen Carter, and I know people whiff on him, and he tackles him for a 2-yard loss, and now you're kicking a field goal. You got to score touchdowns, and they didn't. And this is what happens. Then they get the ball back, and I went back and looked at it, you guys, and the drive started with Carson getting beat 14 yards, Carson getting beat 5 yards, a blitz, and it was an incompletion, Brown beating Carson for 18 yards, another blitz, and they go in and score a touchdown from 14. Oh, and by the way, their guy, the tight end, caught a ball in the end zone. Same end zone. Sun didn't get in his eyes. So
this is gonna be a thing now, like the tours through the facility. Is this gonna be that thing now?
I'm telling you, give me a break.
Do we have to go tint
and
the windows?
And still, even though you're down 14-6, it's a one-score game going into the third quarter, and then the defense broke down. And it was a shame because if you do what you should have done in the first half, then you don't know how the second half's going to play out.
I can tell you what offensive coordinators do, and I can tell you what this one would have done if they were down 14 points. He'd have went to chunking that thing. I promise you, he'd have went to throwing it
instead of going to the short game.
Oh yeah, he'd have went to pumping it down the field, mid-range to long. You know, your stripes will rise up when you panic. You become who you are when you're in a panic situation. But the thing here, fellas, I think, is you have to continue to play.
You have no choice.
Yeah, and you have to start cleaning up your game. Like you say, the young man Cooper, BB whiffed. Can't have that. You had your one for this game. Can't do that. Learn from your mistakes. Get better.
But the problem is you don't want them learning on the fly in a game like this.
But they have to. When you see, this is one thing about great players versus players who had to learn to play. Everson Wall, great player, came in as a rookie, bumping and running, gunning and bumping. Nate Newton had to learn.
Had to.
And so when somebody finally believed in me and put me in a game, I had to learn on the fly because I didn't get a lot of reps. Well, back then we got a lot of reps against great players, but it's still a little bit different in the game. So Cooper going to have to learn. But once you see that, that can never happen again. And these are the bumps in the road that we're going to face. And it's going to be disheartening. And we're going to lose in a lot of different ways. But if these guys, I'm just.
Real stuff.
But if these guys continue to learn, the young and the old continue to learn, continue to adjust, and the coaches see what they have and work within the perimeters, it may be that was a dumb game plan. But you know what? I sat right here on our show saying it's got to be 3 and 5 step drops until everybody gets acclimated. Mm-hmm. Well, that's what their defense they ain't gonna throw this long early, mm-hmm. and they was coming up, and they was tackling, and they wasn't missing. So the player got to realize he gonna get me this ball early. I got to make a play. You have to make a play for a quarterback, even though we believe in Cooper Rush. Somebody had to make a play for this kid.
Yeah,
nobody made the play.
No.
Somebody had to make a play. So
his offensive line let him down. They completely let him down.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Not in a lot of situations. This was a team effort because I'm looking at some routes here mm-hmm. where he barely missing guys. That's the timing. This next game, thank God they got 8 days. This next game is going to tell you where Cooper Rush at. Because mm-hmm. I just don't believe that you just like you Walls. You come off the bench, you a cover corner. You didn't care. You was trying to bump and run Tony and all these guys from day one. That's a different mentality. Carson's not built like that. The more you beat him, the further he back up. I thought he was going to back up out of the stadium.
Well, he backed up to the bench because they brought in McQuama in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, but you get what I'm saying?
No, I know.
So
it's
about confidence.
Where did they throw the ball? At him.
Yeah.
Because after Diggs had the interception in the end zone, they didn't go over there. Mm-hmm. They weren't throwing to that side.
So these are fans, I'm not telling you how to think. You spend your money, you expect to win. I'm with you. But you were 12-5 last year. You were a home field guy for the first round. You were literally like either the second or third seeded team. Second. So that means you was first in your division. You earned these games you're getting today.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. You earned them. So you're going to have to live through them. I'm going to live through them with you, and Everson going to live through them, and Mickey's going to be forced to shake his head over there like he's doing now. But this is who we are. You drafted a center is the number one important position to me, and a left tackle, the number 2 most important position. These guys are struggling. This is the game that we play. All right?
Mm-hmm.
I thought Austin Richards did pretty well.
He did. He did. I don't want to jinx him. He did nice. he played nice. I saw him coming out of the locker room because during training camp, I'm not like Charles Haley. I don't try to be a coach, but I see a player and I like him, and Austin Richards, I've talked to him every day. Hey man, just keep your head up. You're the first guy in. You're the first guy in. I mean, every time somebody was sick, left tackle this day, left guard this day. In the preseason, left tackle this game, moving from left tackle, moving to left guard. And you hear me say, why don't they play this guy? Now they've played this guy. Now you can't sit up and tell him anything anymore. You know how you can say, well, this.
Yeah.
If something go wrong with your starter, he's your first guy in. That's what we do know as. Mm-hmm. So now he's getting confidence. And I'm not saying going against Sweat or Graham or none of those guys. I don't look at them as a top 6 or 7 elite guy because I don't know what Austin would have did from Cleveland to now where we was facing just one beast after another. But today he did okay, and it gives the coaches confidence that if things get a little shaky, he can play guard or he can play tackle.
Better give the other guy a little incentive.
Yeah, it may. But one thing we know around here, if you're a first-round pick, been paid a lot of money, you're going to play.
Well, we'll see.
I'm just saying.
I know.
I know people.
I want to go back to what Garrett would always say, that this is a meritocracy. Is you get what you earn, right? And doesn't matter where you're drafted. One guy was in the first, one guy was in the sixth.
If this was Jimmy Parcells, I would believe what you were saying. This is not Jimmy or Parcells. This is a different animal. This is a different
all
animal.
I know for this first NFL start, I thought he played awfully well.
He played good.
There was no jailbreaks.
Yeah, he played good.
Now, in the running game, it's hard to say, but I watched a few. I thought he did a really decent
Who was he
job.
going up against?
Well,
Josh Sweat.
Sweat was over
and
there.
Graham.
Josh Sweat is
yeah.
good.
Yeah, he had 5 sacks.
Yeah.
He played, and I can't think of the other kid. They got another nice outside linebacker.
Mm-hmm.
All together, they have 22 sacks. Josh Sweat led them up into that game with 5. Jalen Carter had 3. I think the offensive line played fairly well, but what hurt was the inconsistencies with him making connections with his receivers. And then when he did dump off, the Eagles was right there.
Yeah.
That's because they're not going down the field.
They
Yeah.
knew what
Like
was
you
coming.
said, yeah.
They knew
Yeah.
what was coming. Well, and then in the second half, they went down the field twice, and we got to go to break. But the 2 plays that I sticks out was the one deep pass to Jalen Brooks that he caught, but he got pushed out of bounds. He ran the route too close to the sideline.
Which he should know better.
Right? Because if he's further towards the numbers, then he leaves him some space to catch
That's the
ball.
ABCs of being a wide receiver.
Right?
Yes.
He needed
Yes.
that blue line they put
knows
there
that.
for practice.
He knows that. He
and then
knows
the
that.
other one,
He hit him right down the seam. This
Yeah.
one right here. This one right here. He hit him right down the seam, and he kind of overthrew him. And that goes to, because he had perfect protection, that goes to, it's one thing to work out there in practice. But when I'm live, see, that's the disadvantage of not having back-to-back hard practices in training camp where your wide receivers are never, and y'all forgive me, never ever think that a wide receiver should jog off the ball. He should always be running wide open to give the quarterback a chance to see what can happen in a game.
and then they tried Trey Lance, and we'll get into that in the next segment. Trey Lance going downfield, the deep one. Mm-hmm. Tolbert never looked for the ball. The guy intercepted it, right? His back was to the interception. It's like, what are you doing?
I explained that off air. I explained that to you off air.
Okay, thank you very
please
much.
do.
And we're going to go off here now for a second here on Talking Cowboys on DallasCowboys.com.
Star Sports Tours is the only official fan travel partner of the Dallas Cowboys, offering exclusive game weekend travel packages with pre-game sideline access and photo ops with current players, cheerleaders, and Cowboy legends. You want to stay at a team hotel, attend the best tailgate party in Texas, tour the Star, and talk X's and O's with me, Everson Walls? With Star Sports Tours, you can. Visit cowboystravel.com to book your travel package today.
Hey Cowboy fans, I'm Dak Prescott, quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys. But lately, I've been learning a new game, crypto. Sound confusing? Don't worry, even us pros were rookies in crypto once. That's why I trust blockchain.com. They make crypto easy. No confusing jargon, just the tools to help you win.
Prescott keeps it, slides with a first down.
Invest like your icons, where everyone is a rookie in crypto with blockchain.com.
Perfect throw, my goodness. Wow, did he ever thread the needle?
Visit blockchain.com/cowboys to get started.
Hey y'all, Matt Pittman of Meat Church here. With football season kicking off, I'm already gearing up to bring the smoker back to AT&T Stadium for some epic tailgates. But with that Texas heat, it's crucial to keep my beer hand cramping cold. That's where Yeti's insulated Colster can cooler comes in clutch. This year, you can even get them with the iconic star engraved on the side. Licensed Yeti Cowboys gear is now available at Stadium Pro Shops, concessions, and on Yeti.com. Check it out today. Yeti, official cooler and drinkware of the Dallas Cowboys.
The Medal of Honor is our country's highest military award for valor in combat. More than 40 million individuals have served in the armed forces since the Civil War. Fewer than 4,000 have received the Medal of Honor. The National Medal of Honor Museum will be a place to preserve these legacies and inspire America. It's being built right next door to the Dallas Cowboys in Texas. Help us honor our country's greatest heroes. Learn more and get involved at mohmuseum.org.
Back to Mixed Shots.
Witness the biggest boxing event in modern history at Netflix and MVPs Paul versus Tyson and Taylor versus Serrano. Head to AT&T Stadium on Friday, November 15th as international superstar Jake Paul takes on the baddest man on the planet, Mike Tyson. And don't miss Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano's long-awaited rematch for the undisputed super lightweight championship. Limited tickets are available now at SeatGeek.com, the official ticket partner of the AT&T Stadium.
And we continue here on Mick Shots. Everson Walls, Nate Newton, myself, Mickey Spagnola, after the Cowboys' 34-6 loss to the Philadelphia Eagles. The Cowboys losing 4 straight games, now 3-6. The Eagles go to 7-2 and first place in the NFC East after the Washington Commanders were beaten 28-27 by Pittsburgh. They fell to 7-3. So when you look at the NFC East, you see that, well, the worst teams in the league right now are 2-8. Mm-hmm. So the Cowboys only got one more win than the worst teams in the league. And
can't wait to play those Giants.
So here's the other thing that happened after the game. Mike McCarthy said it. Jerry Jones said it. They belabored the fact that they had 5 turnovers and the fact that in their last 2 home games they have now 10 turnovers. Well, at halftime, the Cowboys had 2 turnovers. The Eagles had 2 turnovers, by the way. The first one the Cowboys had. Now, when I went back and looked at it, did you think Cooper Rush was ready for that snap that he fumbled, the shotgun?
He took his eyes off the ball.
He did.
Because he was getting ready to hand it off.
Yeah, he went to the handoff way before.
Because it hit him in the chest.
Yeah,
I didn't
that's
realize
what I'm saying.
it hit him in the chest.
If you look at his head, he was doing this. I was like, wow, Cooper. Don't. Ooh.
So they get the ball at the 17. They didn't kick a field goal. They scored a touchdown, right? But the other thing about the 5 takeaways, 3 of them occurred after the score was 28-7. So that really didn't turn the game around. And in that Detroit game when they had 5, 3 of them occurred after it was 40-9.
Right.
So I understand the turnovers, but it's when they occurred. And basically at 28-7, the game was over.
Right.
I'm sorry.
So did you have what age group did you finish playing football?
What?
I mean,
Yeah,
you played
what was your last year?
high
What was your
school.
last year? What age?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I was on the team. I didn't play.
Okay. What?
Sophomore in high school.
Okay, because the further I went up the ladder of playing football, turnovers became a egregious issue, no matter when they happened. So, no matter when, because when you turn that ball over once, that's like throwing charm to sharks.
Right.
It don't matter when they happen. Offensive head coaches and offensive coordinators, they know quickly. Why do you think they set guys on the bench? Because it don't matter when they happen. They are terrible. I don't want to put a real life experience onto how bad it could be, but it's a bad incident.
Well, I understand it's bad,
Yeah.
but it was already bad before the last 3 happened.
See, the thing about it, if we would have lost that game by 6 points and would have had those same amount of turnovers, people probably wouldn't be groaning as much. But we lost by a long ways, and it don't matter. So, but you don't never want to turn the ball over.
I agree. But it's not a good excuse for getting beat.
It's an
excuse for getting beat as bad as you did.
I thought McCarthy was a little upset last week.
Oh, he was upset.
But did you see him this week? And it was about what? Turnovers.
Yeah, I got you.
Turnovers.
I got you. I told you, first half it cost you 14 points.
Yeah,
7 they got, and 14 you didn't get.
Yes, I just believe this right here. We're gonna have to keep pushing, keep grinding, and this show and every other show, fans, get ready. Please don't tune us out because we're going to be saying basically the same things
thing
over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll try to do a better job of providing better content. Mick tried, and I shot it down. I should have said, yeah, Mick. Those 3 turnovers later on in the game, one is beaten down as the other one.
Well, it eliminated you from the opportunity to catch up.
Yes.
But you weren't catching up.
You weren't catching up, not with this Philly team. This is how they play every week. They try to minimize the turnovers, which we were able to kind of counter that this particular time. That's why I kind of thought in the beginning, we might have a little chance here to keep this game competitive. But what Philly always does is that their defense just begins to smother you more and more and more. The offense tries their best not to make mistakes.
Yes.
They know how to give up on a play. Jalen was good at that, but last night, not so much.
Yeah.
So they gave you somewhat of a chance. But what did that defense do? They stepped up even stronger. So we know where the strength of this team is, talking about Philadelphia. And they bank on it every week. Offense, just keep grinding. It was like when I played with Parcells with the Giants. It was all about field position, guys. They're not worried about making big plays necessarily. It's all about the field position, and next thing you know, they're marching over and over again. You come with your counterfire, it's okay, it's too short. I come with my counterfire, I'm going to drive you deeper and deeper with your back up against the wall. And next thing you know, the defense takes over, they get the turnovers, and then you get the scores. When the game ends up looking like a blowout, but it really the score wasn't really indicative of how well the Cowboys defense played, but it is indicative of how well Philly's defense played.
And a lot of what Philadelphia was able to do offensively was set up by those turnovers.
No doubt.
Right?
No doubt.
I'm going to tell you, from Parcells Giants to Jimmy's Cowboys to Belichick's Patriots, you saw that same thing you just talked about. You
Field
saw
position.
that just field position.
Field position, man.
Field position.
I never thought about that till I left Dallas because Tom Landry was always so good at calling plays.
Yes.
It was about his game plan and his intellect that you noticed during the ball game. When I went to New York, this is a whole different beast. They don't really care about all these fancy plays. All they're going to do is play the field position game on you. And when you blink, it's too late. Now
too late.
We're running it in.
Yeah.
We're passing in short yardage. We're on the other side of the 50-yard line where you can take more chances as an offense. And that was something of a surprise to me, that I learned a different style of play after 29 years old.
And the thing that I'm hoping the Cowboys, you hear me say that periodically, because I always think what you're saying is, let's play the field position game. Let's play great down and distance football. I'm quite sure when you was with Belichick and Parcells, they played a lot of situational practices.
Oh, it's no doubt. No doubt.
I think Jimmy used to overdo the situational practices.
That's extremely important for a championship team.
Yes.
Extremely.
And so when I look at this team, man, I don't see what everybody see. Right about now, everybody's seeing failure all over the place.
Here.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm not seeing failure all over the place.
I'm that guy.
I'm seeing inconsistent players, because what they're going to have to do if this season continues the way, they're going to have to let some players go.
Yeah.
You may not. You got to let some players go, and you're going to. I saw Campbell did a super job with Detroit. 1 year is terrible. Next year, terrible. Next year, half of the season was terrible. But he started turning it around. So we're going to have to let some guys go.
Like Jimmy did.
Yeah.
Like Jimmy did.
I don't know that they've got enough guys to let go.
Well,
I mean,
no, I'm talking about some studs.
Well, I don't know
that ain't for me what studs you let go.
Yeah, you want to define studs?
It's more players on this team than you think. Yeah, don't go with the totality. Y'all act like a hydrogen bomb that fell in here on these Cowboys. No, it's just been some grenades through in there. That's all it is. That's all.
So it's not a total wipeout.
That's not a total wipeout, man. I'm telling you, man.
Well, you just said it's a total wipeout. You got to let them go.
No, some players you have to let go.
Well, some players are going to be let go just out of the fact that they're on their last year of their
I think he said
contracts.
we might be a little bit surprised.
Yeah. You may be a little,
Well, surprise me.
No, sir. No, we got to finish the season. We'll let them
I want
go
you to
after
surprise me right now.
Oh, okay. You're saying this after the season.
Yeah, this after the season. No, not now. Not now. Not now. No. You need every swinging, as the the old men would say. Yeah. You need every swinging right now.
I know what you're saying.
Yeah. See, because the thing is, this team is not playing well because it's missing some key individuals.
Well, yeah.
And I ain't talking about injury. I'm talking about just good players. When Jimmy came in, our older like Everson was an older player, but he could still play. But for some reason, him and Jimmy couldn't click. Oh, jeez, I wish it would have happened, but it didn't. So did he even trade you, my brother?
No,
he didn't even trade. We didn't go.
Get rid of this headache.
But he had a saving grace.
Was your contract up?
Yeah.
We had a saving grace.
What was the saving grace?
Called Herschel Walker. Thank you, Herschel, to this day. I don't know who Mr. Jones' saving grace, do he even want to go that route, saving grace? And so you're getting through this year. You got an Awesome Riches. You got a Guyton. You got a Cooper. Even a young guy that almost backed up out of the stage yesterday, number 21. These young guys, what will they learn from this year? Now, if we're talking about them this year at this time, maybe we, but you got to think out of these 3 or 4 guys, we know from last year, boy, just think if Overshown would have played last year.
Yeah.
This kid is balling out without a real defensive front four.
I told him after the game when I saw him. And by the way, he told me the injury was a bursa sac on his knee. So he felt like he would be back. But I told him after the game, you might have been, if you finished the game, become the first player in NFL history to win NFC Defensive Player of the Week on a losing team.
Yeah.
Do you realize he had 11 tackles, 2 sacks, 2 tackles for losses, and 2 quarterback hits in 2.5 quarters? The drive happened in the third quarter when they got to 21 when he went out of the game.
Yes, it did.
That was an unbelievable performance by him. And he came running back on the field and I don't know if he got back in or not. He tried to talk his way back into the game.
If our defensive line, I'm telling you, believe me, fans, I talk what I see. Now, I talk crazy on my show, but I try not to come on y'all's show because y'all are more of an information show than us. We entertainment plus information on our other show. Believe me, if we'd have had just an average, a little bit above average D-line, Kendrick, number 35,
Leofau,
and this kid Overshown, we would not stop talking about him.
Well, we
would not stop talking about him. I'm telling you, if we could be consistent now, 97 Osa is starting to play good. Now number 99 is figuring out where he's fitting. So you're seeing guys starting to play better, but they are not big enough, cocky, strong enough to play 35 minutes a game. That's right.
And it wears down.
Yeah, and it wears them down.
That's why I said Philly, they wear you down with their defense. Our defense gets worn down at the end of the game. Yeah. That's why after halftime, we're where we are, looking good. And then all of a sudden, after halftime, into the third quarter, we just stumble.
We're wearing down the clock right now. We need to take a break here on Mick Shots on DallasCowboys.com.
You're not a good Bill. You're not a good replacement. That thing that dropped.
Hey, y'all. Matt Pittman of Meat Church here. With football season kicking off, I'm already gearing up to bring the smoker back to AT&T Stadium for some epic tailgates. But with that Texas heat, it's crucial to keep my beer hand cramping cold. That's where Yeti's insulated Colster can cooler comes in clutch. This year, you can even get them with the iconic star engraved on the side. Licensed Yeti Cowboys gear is now available at Stadium Pro Shops, concessions, and on Yeti.com. Check it out today. Yeti, official cooler and drinkware of the Dallas Cowboys.
Hey Cowboy fans, I'm Dak Prescott, quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys. But lately, I've been learning a new game, crypto. Sound confusing? Don't worry, even us pros were rookies in crypto once. That's why I trust blockchain.com. They make crypto easy. No confusing jargon, just the tools to help you win.
Prescott keeps it, slides with a first down.
Invest like your icons, where everyone is a rookie in crypto with blockchain.com.
Perfect throw, my goodness. Wow, did he ever thread the needle.
Visit blockchain.com/Cowboys to get started.
Star Sports Tours is the only official fan travel partner of the Dallas Cowboys, offering exclusive game weekend travel packages with pregame sideline access and photo ops with current players, cheerleaders, and Cowboy legends. You want to stay at a team hotel, attend the best tailgate party in Texas, tour the Star, and talk X's and O's with me, Everson Walls? With Star Sports Tours, you can. Visit cowboystravel.com to book your travel package today.
Cowboys football and Miller Lite. What a pairing. Can cracks at kickoff. Tailgates going way past postgame. Sunday night overtimes followed by Monday morning swagger. Brisket in the smoker. Miller Lite in the cooler. America's team playing America's greatest sport. Miller Lite, the only beer of the Dallas Cowboys. Dallas Cowboys football tastes like Miller time. Celebrate responsibly. 2023 Miller Brewing Company, Fort Worth, Texas.
Back to Mick Shots.
Head to AT&T Stadium to experience Rally Day presented by SeatGeek on Sunday, November 17th from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. Get ready to cheer on your Dallas Cowboys with tours of AT&T Stadium, autographs from the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders, ticket giveaways, games, and more. Visit AT&TStadium.com/rallydays to get your tickets today.
So I was looking at the stats here, and this occurred to me here as we do our final segment on Mick Shots, is the Cowboys have lost 4 games when the opposing quarterback completed 12 passes, 13 passes, 14 passes, and 19 passes. And this one got away from me because I thought in the first half the Cowboys did a pretty nice job stopping the run. I think they ran in the first half 82 yards, and most of it was Hurts scrambling out of the pocket, and they didn't contain him. At the end of the first half, he had 48 yards rushing on 6 carries. They ended up with 187 yards rushing, and it was all in the second half. Oh, man. Yeah, he completed 14 passes, but it was for 202 yards. They had 5 sacks. They had him under duress the most of the game. Now, to get under duress, though, they were having to blitz. And then you see when blitz doesn't get there, remember the crossing route to A.J. Brown? There was no linebackers in the way. Yes, sir. You have the floor to talk. 4.
See them 4 turnovers you said that 3 of them really didn't count? They counted.
Well, they counted for 13 points.
They counted, though.
And more rushing yards.
That's what I'm saying.
And more rushing yards.
I tell people, it's so many ways you can lose in football.
But they were losing already 28-7.
But it's so many ways you can lose.
Were they going to catch up, Nate?
You can be perfect on 3rd downs and still lose the game. You can have 3 turnovers and still lose the game. You have to have big-time players making big-time plays at big moments.
And that's to me that's what it is.
Yes.
It's the lack of making plays or the ability to make plays.
That's right.
Numbers can be used to show and support any theory that you might have.
Yes.
But what we see is the turnovers happen after we've gotten worn down. By that time, your defense is shot. Your offense has shown that they can't break out of it. And the more we try to improve offensively, the bigger hole that we dug for ourselves. So right now, we are a team that just isn't being coached well. Let's just say that.
And if they are coaching well, it's not being received
It's not
well.
So once again,
same thing.
Do you need more coaching, more practice time? You might need it, but you ain't getting it because that's the law.
Yes.
It is what it is. You need to try and communicate with these young boys as much as you can to make sure mistakes are not made. That needs to be an emphasis, guys. It's got to be an emphasis because we give too many excuses to guys who are just coming in to play. And I've always said it. I didn't have that luxury. Michael Downs didn't have that luxury. Hell, even Bill Bates didn't have that luxury. We had to come in and make plays because we had champions around us that were making plays. We had to come in and be in step with what everyone else was doing. The pressure was there. The culture was there. You come in to play, you can't play like a backup. You got to play like a veteran, and we have to give you the room to do that. With this team, if you're a backup, for some reason you seem to always perform as a backup. Someone needs to play above their own heads. It happens all the time. Oh. It's not unique to the Cowboys or any team in the NFL.
The first turnover in the second half, when it was 28-7, Cooper Rush got sacked. That's not his fault, right? Terrence Steele got burned. On top of it, when he tried to recover the fumble, instead of falling on it, what are you doing?
I'm sorry.
So you can sit there and talk about turnovers. That one's on the offensive line, right? The next one, Trey Lance completes a nice pass to Ferguson, and the ball pops out.
Mm-hmm.
God, Ferg, come on, my man.
Right?
Come on, man. That's my man right there. That's my man.
And then the third one
Ferg gets a little overwhelmed sometimes.
Was the deep pass to Tolbert that he never turned around on. So the quarterback gets the turnover, but other people caused him by not playing well.
Spags, you have no trust. You got to have trust. When me and Mike played, I had to trust that Mike was going to be at that post for me. I had to trust that.
Well, he trusted that Tolbert would turn around and look for the pass.
There is no trust with these backups. And to me,
well, they're not backups now. They're
even
starters.
Though they're starters, they're still playing as backups. That's what the point I was trying to make. Eventually, you have to either challenge yourself or coaches challenge you. You challenge the coaches. We can't play the way we're labeled.
So do you think the coverage would have been better if Deron Bland was on the field?
The coverage would have been better, but it also would have been better if your man just does a damn job.
Well, you're talking a 6th-round draft.
See, there you go. You're giving him an excuse.
No, I'm not giving him an excuse.
No, but that's what we're
doing.
There's
a reason why he was a 6th-round draft choice.
And there's
I guess that's the reason why Dak was a 4th-round pick and making the money he's making and doing what he's done. It does not apply to everybody.
I'll give you that.
He didn't accept the narrative. You can't, and we talked about this. The Cowboys have a history of players that don't accept the narrative that is given to them. The NFL has a history of players that say, you know what? I don't care what it is. I deserve to be a starter. And when I get out there, I can't wait till I get my shot. Now the attitude seems to be when you put a guy out there who's not a starter, a guy out there who's just a 6th-rounder or whatever he is, we expect for him, we wait for him to screw up. We wait for it. And to me, that's not a good culture to have. I've seen many players come in who are not starters, who came off a practice squad with another team, and if the culture is there, they come in and they accept that culture and accept that responsibility. You have to do it as a player and the coach that's coaching you. Accept the responsibility. This guy, man, getting paid some money. You're getting paid to go out there and play. I don't care how much you're getting paid. You're getting paid to go play. So make the plays you need to make and try not to make mistakes. Be where you're supposed to be.
At some point, talent.
See, you're shaking your head.
We agree.
We don't disagree with that.
Yeah, we do. We do. I understand that Kansas City is more talented, but he gave you a perfect example of the Steelers. Remember we beat the Steelers?
Yeah.
So He giving you a perfect example.
But they beat him with the backup quarterback.
Steelers won like 2 or 3 games after that. The bottom line is study. Help. If you know you don't have the quickest feet, well, you know you're going to spend – you're not going to go out – I'm talking about from offensive line. Yeah. You're not going to go out there and eat 2 extra hamburgers and 4 pieces of chicken. Come on. I mean, some things are just – it's just the common sense, man. Yeah. Okay, I'll give you 9 times out of 10, most offensive linemen then gave up that sack. They see that ball pop loose. They just drop down on it. What made my man still think that he could pick this ball up?
He was going.
He was going to scoop and score.
This is the front. You couldn't open your hips and block the guy. So you're going to bend your hips and pick up the ball on the move? It ain't happening. You couldn't do it up there. What makes you going to do it back here? Come on, man.
So here's my thing. I would love to see a lot of rosters on this team and see how many backups you have on this team, how many guys who were drafted in 6th round or lower rounds, or how many undrafted free agents, and see how many of them are playing down to expectations. I'd love to see that because every team right now has injuries.
Oh, no.
So every team has a backup coming in. And I promise you, there are more backups than not that say, you know what, I'm not going to come in here and play like a backup. I don't give a damn where I was drafted or not drafted. I don't care how much money I'm making.
All right, so I'm going to end it on this.
Did
you see a difference when Mike Parsons was on the field?
I sure did.
Than the other defensive ends?
I sure did.
Okay. And that's it for
until
me.
about 25 minutes in. You start getting tired.
He got real tired. I saw him put his hand up one time during one of the drives. All right. Thanks to Nate Everson. Good to have you back. We probably didn't go over your picks to click.
Thank God
that you weren't here for Friday. And I assume Bill's back on Tuesday, and we'll be back for Mick Shots here on DallasCowboys.com.
Go Cowboys.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys? Yeah!